what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Daniel and I make car videos. I'm a car enthusiast and I enjoy modifying cars. So yeah, if you enjoy watching another car channel, feel free to subscribe. It'll really help me out. Alright guys, so today I'm going to be doing a review on my Catback exhaust from my car. If you know the intro video, the exhaust clip from that video and the sound clip there, that's actually a cold start from my car. So I think it's a pretty good recording and I like it. It's a nice exhaust. My car has a 3-liter V6 engine. And it's the VQ. So if any of y'all know, the VQ engine is kind of an odder engine, especially this one. It's not the one that's in the 350Z. The later version of the Maxima, the 2002 and 2003, had the same 3.5 liter that the 350Z had, and everybody knows those engines. They sound great. They're awesome V6s. This one's a 3-liter, so it's kind of the weird one. Definitely how it sounds, very droney. You either love it or you hate it in terms of these V6s, and you can get rid of the drone by having a good resonator or deleting the cats or something like that. But yeah, in terms of actually finishing the exhaust, it's going to be a question of getting headers. If for those that don't know, the Catback is just from the catalytic converter on back, and then a full exhaust is headers to tailpipe. So headers, Y pipe, cats, E pipe, and then axle back. Pretty much that's how exhaust systems generally go. You can get axle back exhausts, which is just pretty much the muffler, but I wanted to just get a Catback because there's pretty much only one type of exhaust system out there for this car, and I think for pretty much all 5th gen Maximas. So aftermarket support kind of sucks on that. In terms of finishing the exhaust and actually getting the headers and Y pipe done, there used to be like 3 different brands. I think it was like there's SS Autochrome, which is the same as Stone Mountain Racing, and they had another one, I can't remember the name, but those are all discontinued. Then there's OBX, which they've been around, no surprise, they're a big company. So those are still in production. The ones that first came out with the Maxima are pretty trash, so their revamped version is a lot better. The EGR port is now mounted there, so you didn't have to weld in a bung for that, which is really nice. So they're decent. They're decent cats. And then of course there's the hotshot ones, which are discontinued. Those are really rare, so if you find those, then definitely buy them because they're pretty expensive now. But given that there's only the OBX headers out there for me to buy and actually finish the exhaust, which I do want to do at some point, I want to finish the exhaust. The only thing that's holding me back from that is the fact that they delete the cats, and there's no way around it. You can't buy an aftermarket Y pipe or headers for a 5th gen Maxima that is performance oriented and not OEM style without deleting the cats. And that's just, there's no way around it. Nobody makes anything for it. There's nothing. So I don't want to run the car without cats on unleaded gasoline because, one, it's illegal here in North Carolina. You gotta have cats on your car. And I don't necessarily care if I don't have cats. It's just the fact that mainly all the poisonous gases that come out, the carbon monoxide, and the only way around that with having a clean burning engine with no catalytic converters is having it on E85, tuning it on E85, which is something that I would like to do eventually. There's a good number of E85 gas stations around here, and it obviously will make a lot more power on E85. E85, for those of you that don't know, is just a ethanol-based form of fuel. It's made from corn. A lot of the corn grown in the US just goes straight into ethanol production. If you guys are familiar with tuner cars, if you switch over to full E85, you can make lots more power from that. And it also, the big plus for me with it is it burns cleanly. It doesn't produce carbon monoxide. So for me, knowing that my car won't produce carbon monoxide and I have it on 85, it's basically all pluses, except for the fact it's even cheaper too. It's a cheaper gasoline as well. So pretty much all pluses, aside for the fact that it requires some modifications on older cars to do. You gotta have some stuff done with the fuel system and fuel rails and injectors and everything, which is not quite as big a deal. I would just have to research that and figure out what other people have done. The other thing is that it's not widely available, so it's not at every single pump gas station. That's what's kind of holding me back from doing the full exhaust. So obviously how it sounds now is definitely not as good as it will sound with a full exhaust done, and I do really want to get to that point, but I just am not in a position right now where I can do that. I'm going to research it more, do a look into it and see how that goes, but just for y'all to know, this is only pretty much a half done exhaust. So let's go ahead and get into the review now. So my exhaust is a DNA Motoring Catback exhaust. DNA Motoring is a budget brand. It's like Megan Racing. Nothing amazing, nothing crappy. They're a good, in terms of their quality, they're pretty good. It is stainless steel. It came in 3 pieces, the muffler, and then the E-pipe is actually 2 separate pieces, whereas the stock one is one, it's just all one piece. And just for probably shipping, it makes it easier to ship and stuff. The con with that is it has a flange where the stock exhaust did not, so it rubs and rattles. This exhaust does rattle, it does squeak if you don't modify it and bend the heat shield and all that. I am going to fix that. I'm not going to just let it go. I need to get that done and get under there and really loop things up, and probably some rubber hangers that are adjustable would definitely benefit from that. So yeah, just know that if you're buying an exhaust for a car that doesn't have as much aftermarket support, and then you're going to have to buy something that's either crazy expensive or budget or whatever's out there. Obviously fabricating your own exhaust is the best way to go. I didn't really have that option. I don't know how to weld. I do want to learn, but I don't know anybody that would really be able to fabricate something like that and make it really custom. Obviously, if you can do that, match the stock exhaust. Just match it identically. And then the resonator, of course, you weld in I don't know, cherry bomb muffler. That's probably as good a resonator as you're gonna get on a aftermarket exhaust for these cars. Weld in like a $20 cherry bomb muffler with, I don't know, if you're really aggressive, you can put another cherry bomb muffler for the muffler, and then there you go. It's not illegal. You have 2 sound muffling devices, bulges pretty much of metal, and that's about it. But I mean, obviously do get kind of you can buy a small little muffler, which is what I have. And one really annoying thing about this exhaust system and this generation and specific year of Maxima is it has, on the stock exhaust, a small little, probably 4-inch section of piping where the O2 sensor goes, and it's kind of like a little dip, and that has to be removed for the aftermarket exhaust to go on. That means that I had to get an exhaust shop to weld a bung. We marked the spot, and obviously it's just sticking, straight up, and it's not as fitting as well as the stock setup, so that really sucks. Obviously the easy way to get around that is just delete the cats, have O2 sensor emulators and all that, or just buy a 2002 or 2003 or something with I think the non-California emissions has this problem, but the California emissions doesn't. It's weird, but I don't know why they put that in there for whatever reason. Don't throw it away. Don't throw that little section of pipe away if you ever want to go back to an exhaust that isn't like that, then you're gonna have to find that piece on eBay or something, which again, these cars do not have super great aftermarket support. In terms of the build quality of this exhaust, it's good. It's nice thick piping, came with flanges with gaskets, all the hardware, supplied everything, really good. Did a good job with that. I got the burnt tip because, you know, why not? Looks cool. It also comes with like a double walled muffler. I don't know. I didn't want anything that was quieter, so I didn't want that. But one thing to beware is it is going to be drony if you put it on the car with the 2000 or 2001. It's pretty drony, and I have some exhaust header wrap to put on center right here to try to cut down on that noise. Probably trying to muffle it a little bit, give it some cushioning in terms of the bounciness and anything that's going to hit. You're probably going to want to do that. So yeah, the sound quality is, I mean, honestly, I love the sound. I love the sound of this car. It sounds awesome. It's fun to drive. You know, obviously don't bother with modifying it if it's an automatic. At that point, it's just, you know, you got to get the manual if you're going to want to modify this car. And the SE version, probably, because that's kind of the highest trim in terms of the performance of it. But, you know, realistically, this car is kind of a granny car. It's kind of just a sleeper for the people that really modify them. If you do not know, there actually is a Maxima out there that has 700 horsepower, and it's crazy. I'll link a video down. It's like the world's fastest Maxima. It's really sick. Gray with like T37s. Or reps, I don't know. Probably real ones for you know, the amount of money that the dudes put into the car. But yeah, pretty sick. So that just goes to show that these cars aren't, you know, fantastically easy to modify, but they are pretty rewarding if you do it right and you don't rice them out. I've seen, like, you just don't. That's not an option. I'm gonna be making a video on, you know, lighting. You know, do you have purple headlights? Do you have neon underglow? What's the correct light color for like pretty much any lighting in your car? And I want to do that video. I'm gonna go ahead and I want to get that one out. I'm going to finish out the review by saying that this exhaust is, I think, worth it for anybody that buys it. Pretty much just explained everything except for the sound and the price, which is probably the most important factors, but it costs like 130 bucks, so pretty cheap for a Catback. Obviously the full exhaust system would be like 600 bucks, which shows you that you should be aiming for that ballpark if you're having a car with, you know, that's not a Honda Civic, that you can buy a radiator for like 20 bucks or something crazy. I mean, you can literally do, like, on a Honda Civic, you can buy a full exhaust probably for like 300 bucks. It's insane. Or just friggin' fabricate it yourself and do, like, I mean, they're awesome. So yeah, obviously my recommendation is just go buy a manual Honda Civic and mod it out, you know, in such a way to make it faster, handle better, cleaner, nicer. That's the way to do it. Now, this exhaust, I'm going to go ahead and put the stock clip up and the modified clip up and just give you guys a cold start. I don't have an actual pull clip. I'll dig through some of my videos that I have to see if I have a good 0 to 60. This car will do it in like 7 seconds, so it's, you know, slow, but I mean, I wouldn't call it slow, but it's fun. That's what I would call it. It's not fast by any means. I mean, 400 horsepower and above is what I consider fast. You know, entry level is like 400, or you just have a 300 horsepower car that has crazy light curb weight. But yeah, it's so much fun to drive this car. You get up there and the RPMs, whenever you know, when you redline it, it's so much fun. Just, you know, you can, with the way the gears are set up in this car, you can hit, like, you know, first gear is about 20-30 miles an hour. Second gear is like 60, like almost on the dot at 60. So, and then third gear, I think it tops out probably like 100 or more, but it's insane how the gearing is set up. So, but it is a 5-speed, so I guess that kind of makes sense. But yeah. Anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video of me reviewing my exhaust. I will try to get a nice clip in terms of a, you know, full-on 0 to 60 first and second gear. I want to get a really good clip of that, just audio, probably like run it through my trunk, have it probably the microphone just be taped to the bumper or something. But I think that would be really nice to get a good recording of that. So, I hope this video has been helpful to you guys that have Maximas and are, you know, manuals and obviously wanting to upgrade them. Catback exhausts are by far probably the first modification that I would do on a car. They're a great value. I wouldn't necessarily get axle backs just because they're kind of, I don't know, I mean, you're just replacing the muffler. You could just get the full thing. So a catback is a nice option. I think it's really awesome. Obviously, guys, do not stray away from fabricating your own exhaust. If you know how to weld, have a friend that knows how to weld. Buy the flanges, buy the gaskets, buy the bolts, all the hardware, the piping. You know, make sure you can look on forums for the correct piping diameter and thickness and all of that. But I think it's a really good thing to fabricate your own exhaust, and I wish that I would have that opportunity and that chance to do it. But it might end up costing if you don't do it yourself, it might end up costing quite a bit to get a custom exhaust done. So anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing if you enjoy watching my content, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.